How's it going? It's Jeff from jeffrey-thomas.com, and today we'll walk through 16th note subdivisions bass. So basically a lesson that is going to start to talk about subdividing a quarter note into 4 subdivisions, which are 16th notes, right? The notation is standard notation, and I'm writing everything on the 3rd string open. You could do that, or dead notes if you want. I'm tuned to concert pitch, so this is my pitch. And also, we should talk about the syllables that I'm going to be using, which are 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E. And I've heard other syllables used, but we're going to stay with those for the lesson. Next thing to talk about is the right hand. So I've written a really bad little diagram down here for you. Thumb is P, first finger is I, middle finger is M, ring finger is A. And that's pretty much standard and what I'll be using for the lessons. If you go up to the top of the page, you're going to see right hand patterns. And this is important if you want to start to work on getting this hand balanced. Obviously, if you're using a pick, you're just going to be using, down and up strokes. But this lesson is targeted for people who want to be getting more right hand technique going. So first combination would be I and M, right? Second combination would be the reverse of that, M and I. So starting with M. Then walking over, we would have M and A. Okay, then the reverse of that, which would be starting with A, and then M. Alright? And then I and A. And then the reverse of that, which would be A and I. Okay, so the reason for these different patterns is to keep the right hand balanced. And, instead of just having like really good technique between I and M, you can balance out these other fingers on the hand. Another thing to point out is I'm sort of resting my thumb on the edge of the pick guard here, or a pickup here, and then working behind my thumb, just making sure that I don't travel forward. Okay, so I use that for just for support. And let's get started. I'm going to run everything for you at 50 on the metronome. So, first example top line is straight 16th notes. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and okay, easy enough, nice and even, and then experiment with the other combinations of the finger patterns for the right hand. The next example, second example top line, is 3 16th notes and then a 16th rest. So a 16th rest is that dash with the double flags off of it to represent the double bar for 16th notes. So this is going to be 1E and then resting on 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and Now notice that the next finger that is up to be used is the one that controls the string with the rest. So you can watch that as I play with the metronome. Ready, go. 1E and 2E and 3E and okay. Third example, top line, starting with the 16th rest, so nothing on the beat. 1E and 2E and 3E and Alright, with time. Ready, go. 1. 1E and 2E and 3E and okay. Third example, top line, is an 8th note and then 2 16th notes. So 1E and 2E and 3E. Okay, it's always important to count through everything slow and then try it with time. Ready, go. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and okay, so nothing's resting there, you're just letting the 8th note ring. Okay, now the reverse of that, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th example top line is 2 16th notes and an 8th note. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Okay. Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Alright, cool. Next example is an eighth rest, so a dash with a single flag to represent a single bar for eighth note. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, let's get that with time. Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a. Okay, each one of these will have a little groove to it once you start to nail them, alright? Seventh example, top line, 2 16th notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E. Okay, with time. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, cool. Last example, top line, a dotted eighth rest. 3 16th notes in a dotted eighth rest. Dot adds another 16th, so that goes for either a dotted eighth rest or a dotted eighth note. It's going to be taking care of 3 16th notes, so this will be 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Just playing on a. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a. Okay. Second line. Resting on the beat, playing on E and, resting on a. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and. Okay. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, cool. Second example, second line. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Playing on E and a. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay. Third example, second line. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E. So resting on E. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E. So counting in your head or counting out loud, super important. Fourth example, second line. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So resting on and. 16th rest on and. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth example, second line. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So a 16th note, an 8th note on E, lasting for E and, playing again on a. No resting here in the right hand. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Okay, time. Ready, go. 1 E and, sorry, ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay. Sixth example, second line, dotted 8th note to a 16th. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a. Okay, cool. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay. Seventh example, second line, the reverse of that. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Okay. 16th to a dotted 8th. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay. Last example, second line, is a 16th rest on the beat, and then the dotted 8th note on E. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a. Ready, go. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay. So So 2 lines of torture there. Now we go into 4 examples, just 1 measure examples, mixing them up. And make sure that you're experimenting with the different combinations of the right hand, right? Very important. Also, if I didn't mention earlier, this lesson is in standard notation, so a lot of my students are looking at a lesson I have on the archives called Natural Notes Bass, which is going to take your first position notes all the way up to the 12th fret and explain things really good. So if you're new to standard notation, don't be discouraged. Start to break away from tablature because there's no rhythm in most of the tablature I see on the internet. So anyway, number 1. Example number 1 here, I'm going to walk through really slow, counting, and then I'll put the metronome on it. Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, that was example number 1. I'll loop it with time. Ready, go. 1 E and 2 and 3 E, 4 E and a. Okay, example number 2, just walking through with the counting. Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Okay, now with time, example number 2. Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and a. Okay, it's very important to be able to count everything. Okay, third example. Ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Okay, with time, example number 3. Ready, go. Sorry, ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E. Okay, notice now I'm controlling the strings and very tightly with these fingers alternating. Last example, and then we'll be done for today. Yay! Alright, super slow. Example number 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, now with time. Ready? Go. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, so I hope this wasn't too boring for you. And it's very important to be able to isolate these 16th notes, get them very clean, be working the different technique if you're interested in, developing a balanced right hand. Make sure you're running through these examples with all the different patterns, playing with the metronome, making sure you really understand how to count these and isolate them, because in real music they're going to be all mixed in, and then there's going to be left hand stuff going on too, right? So, okay, if you need further help, I'm teaching with webcams on Skype, Uvu, Yahoo Messenger, Windows Live, you name it. So just get a hold of me if you're into continuing to study. All right, see you later.